How's everyone? Feeling happy? Thank you. I especially want to thank Mr. Slim Senior, Junior, Arturo, the extended family, and all the foundations that have helped sponsor today and brought me here. So I'm very grateful, very honored, and very happy to be here. I heard earlier that today is the most important day of your life, and obviously this was being addressed to the 10,000 young men and women who are here, students, who are the future of Mexico, but I also think the future of humanity. So I'd like to modify that just a little bit. Today is the most important day of your life, but even more important, this moment, now, is the most important time of your life. Because the only time that exists is now. The future is in our imagination. The past is a memory. And if you live only in the future and the past, then your life will go by like a dream. If you want to live life, it's now. The most important time in your life is now. Now is the only moment that never ends. The most important people in your life are the ones that you're with now. The most important action you can take in your life is what you choose consciously now. The best way to create a future is what you're doing now. So before I even start, I want you to take just 1 second to be totally present. As you're listening to me right now, just turn your attention to who is listening now. So as you listen to me, be aware of who's listening. And that presence that you feel right now is you. It's your soul, alma. It's not your mind, which might be saying, I wish I'd gone to the bathroom before the lecture, or something else, okay? It's your soul. Your mind is an activity that comes and goes in the presence of your soul. Your body is also an activity that's changing. There was a different body when you were a child, a different body when you were a teenager, a different body now, a different body tomorrow. But that presence that you just felt, and you can go back to it any time, you can go back to it any time, is now. It's your ticket to freedom. Your ticket to freedom is yourself. So today I have many things to talk to you about, but I think go back to what has been said in all the wisdom traditions of the world. What good does it do a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? What good does it do a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Today we have a crisis in the world, a major crisis: war, terrorism, chemical weapons, mechanized death, nuclear weapons, ecological disasters, economic injustice. 50% of the world living on less than $2 a day. We have problems everywhere. In fact, our experts tell us that unless we act in an emergency right this moment, civilization as we know it will come to an end in less than 100 years. The last mass extinction that took place on our planet was 65 million years ago. But if there is another mass extinction in the future, it'll be because of the human species. We're a very strange species, the only species that kills its own kind in the name of God. The only species that gets rid of other species and is risking its own extinction. The only species that ravages and plunders the earth, which is our mother. So this is a very diabolical aspect of being human. No other species does this. But then there's the other side that we have as human beings. We're the only species that says, what is the nature of the universe? The only species that says, why is there consciousness? What is consciousness? The only species that asks, what is the meaning of our existence, of our life? The only species that wonders about the mystery of death. The only species that asks itself, does God exist? The only species that says, what happens to us after we die? The only species that asks itself, do I have a soul? The only species that has the capacity for imagination, for creativity, for insight, for self-awareness. The only species that now, this moment, has the capacity to reverse where we have come after 13.8 billion years of cosmic evolution. We are at a crossroads today. 13.8 billion years of cosmic evolution has brought us to this moment. And if we go this way, extinction. Civilization as we know it will come to an end in less than 100 years. Only with one thing, climate change, for example, new epidemics, warfare, terrorism, mass refugees, disappearance of landmass, etc., not to mention all the other problems. But we are also the only species that has the capacity, the creativity, the imagination, the goodness, the compassion, the empathy, the love, and the awareness that we can change it, and we can do it now. So, what I want to talk to you today is about how do we unfold this greatness, this potential, this magnificence that we are. As we go through life, and the 10,000 of you who are here today, you are the hope of the future of not only, as I said, Mexico, but of humanity and of the cosmos, of the earth. You are the custodians, and you have an immense responsibility. And so what I hope to do is I want to go over certain principles. You are on the threshold of a huge adventure. And you're between the ages of 18 and 25, I'm told. This is the first phase of your life. In the wisdom traditions of the East, we divide life into 4 phases. The first phase of your life is education, to absorb all the knowledge that can be given to you so that you're prepared for the future. And you're getting the best of it. You're the best, you're the cream of that. And later after me, you'll be listening to Mr. Khan, who's revolutionizing how education can be brought to everyone. That's the first phase of your life. So today, the success that you have is measured by your academic performance and by your academic achievements. The second phase of your life, the next 25 years of your life, your success is measured by, traditionally anyway, by fame and fortune. How much you can earn, not only for yourself, but your family, for your community. It's measured in economic terms. It's measured by success as the progressive realization of worthy goals. Then there's the third phase of life. If you're healthy, and I'm going to talk about that, the third 25 years of life, I'm in that. And this phase is when you say, okay, I've been there, I've done that, what can I do now for those who gave me so much, for those who gave me education, for those who gave me wisdom, for those who gave me opportunities to succeed, to create wealth, to create fame and fortune. So it's the time that we give back. And then there's the fourth phase of life. And the fourth phase of life is, what does it all mean? Why do we exist? Why does anything exist? Why is there a universe? And as I embark on my own journey, from the third to the fourth phase, I want to give you a little bit of insight into your identity and who you are. Because there are so many ways we identify ourselves. My parents, my religion, the country, the culture, the history, the economics, the ethnic background, the nationality, as I said. It's one level of identity. Another level of identity is my physical body. You know, it's very interesting. Your physical body, which is carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and a few other elements, it was forged in the crucible of stars. So if you want to know what your body is, it's stardust. It's the dust of stars, born billions of years ago in cosmic evolution. But it's an interesting stardust. You are a luminous stardust being that has also become self-aware, that is asking these questions that we pose ourselves. And this stardust we share with everyone. Right this moment, as you breathe in and out, we are exchanging the molecules of our body. In less than 1 year, you recycle almost every atom in your body. In just the last 3 weeks, a quadrillion atoms, which is 10 followed by 15 zeros, have gone through your body that have gone through the body of every other living species on this planet. Think of a tree in Africa. Think of a squirrel in Siberia. Think of a peasant in China. Think of a taxi driver in Calcutta. Think of a camel in Saudi Arabia, and you have stardust in your body that was recycling there only 3 weeks ago. So this body that I'm using right now to speak to you, this is my year 2013 model. And the last time I came to Mexico, I brought the same suitcase, but not the same body. So I couldn't be my body. Furthermore, what I call my body, I have to share with you. In fact, you can do studies, mathematical studies, that will prove to you without a shadow of doubt that right now in your physical body, you have 1 million atoms that were once in the body of Christ or Buddha. Think of anyone, and you have 1 million atoms in your body this moment that were once in the body of both the sacred and the profane. You do not own your body. You say, well, I'm not my body, I must be my mind. Well, our mind is also an embodied and relational process that regulates the flow of energy and information in the cosmos. So right now I'm speaking to you, and I am giving you information and energy which is going through your brain into your body. But of course, people are watching us maybe on social networks and television, and their minds are absorbing this. And right now we have an ecosystem that has been created by technology that is regulating through our mind the flow of information and energy on our entire planet. What we do not realize is that the technology that you have created right here in this country, one of the best technologies today is rewiring the global brain. It's rewiring the global mind. Go on the internet, and what is it? It's our mind. It's our collective mind. But it also regulates energy and information in our bodies, because whatever happens in your mind also happens in your body. There is no event that occurs in your mind that is not recorded in your brain. And there is no event that happens in your brain that does not regulate your body. So today, if someone feels guilt or shame or resentment or hostility or anger or fear, it obviously changes their body. Their state of consciousness determines their state of biology. If you feel love, compassion, joy, kindness, empathy, equanimity, profound peace, your body is completely different. And I mean different in its molecules, different in its self-regulation, different in its homeostasis. Homeostasis means the state of balance that influences everything in your body, including illnesses like cancer and heart disease and infections and autoimmune illnesses. They are all, in a sense, an expression of our state of consciousness. So I sent somebody a little tweet in Africa, and I say, I love you. And if it means something to them, their brain makes oxytocin and dopamine and opiates and serotonin, which are not only molecules that make you feel happy, but they are immunomodulators. They modulate the activity of your immune system. If I say, I don't like you, or disappear, or create some anguish in somebody, it creates cortisol, adrenaline, which not only weakens your immune system, but raises your blood pressure, raises your heart rate, makes your platelets sticky, and causes havoc. So today we know, and this is no good research, good research, that your well-being is the most important determinant. Your well-being is the most important determinant of your future, of the future of your family, of the future of your community, of the future of your country, of the future of the world, and also the future of leadership. Your well-being. But we have to broaden well-being. It's not only physical well-being, it's emotional well-being, because we know the connection between the mind and the body. It is social well-being. It is career well-being. I heard Mr. Carlos Slim Jr. talking about 3 very important things. He said education, health and well-being, right? And he said jobs. These are the 3 major determinants right now of the future of your business, and the future of your community and the future of your country. But of those 3 that he mentioned, your well-being is number 1. But well-being in a broader bucket, career well-being. Are you happy with the job that you do? Do you use your strengths and talents? Are you noticed by other people who acknowledge your strengths? Are you engaged? Are you making a difference? Your social well-being, which means your circle of family and friends. Your community well-being, which means safety, hope, trust, stability, compassion. Your financial well-being. These are all inextricably woven into everything. You can measure today, scientifically, hospital admissions, traffic accidents, GDP, economic growth, violence, quality of leadership, all based on just well-being. So I would say, if we have to look at the future, we have to look at all these different aspects of well-being because they're woven into each other. They're interdependent. And it is our responsibility today to ensure the well-being not only of ourselves, but even our enemies, even our so-called perceived enemies. I don't know if you know this, but if you have a happy friend, your happiness goes up by 15%. But if your happy friend has a happy friend, it goes up another 10%. Even though you do not know the happy friend of the happy friend. And if your happy friend's happy friend has a happy friend, whom you do not know, your happiness goes up another 10%, and your biology responds to it. So we are all connected. We are connected today because we are rewiring the planet. We can create an epidemic of happiness if we want. Okay, we have epidemics of AIDS and malaria and tuberculosis that still ravage the world. We have the capacity to take care of them. We have the capacity to reverse global warming. I just met somebody who has created a global movement for solar energy, which will come to us for the next millions of years, billions of years. Why are we not harnessing the best creativity in the world today to reverse global warming, to bring back to life extinct species through genetic engineering, to bring back a healthy ecosystem, to reverse economic trends, to bring social and economic justice. So I invite you today, you, the young people of the world, I invite you today to see how can we harness not only our personal creativity, but how we can harness our collective creativity, how we can use our social networks and our capacity to influence the world through the technologies we have into creating a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and happier planet for every life on this earth. To in fact recognize that I exist because you exist. That I have a mind because you have a mind. That I have a body that is regulated by your state of well-being. Your state of mental, spiritual well-being influences my body. And we know this now. We know this. And the mind is not inside the brain, it's not even inside the body, it extends through the planet. And if we really begin to understand the deeper aspects of our being, you and I cannot be squeezed into the volume of a body or even the span of a lifetime. Because the real you extends beyond the edges of space and beyond the corridors of time. And this real you is going to resurrect, if we pay attention, the future and ensure the future of humanity. At this moment, your body, as you experience it, represents the past. What is flowing through your blood is the life throb of ages. The flesh and bones of your body is the earth recycling. This air that you breathe is our common breath. The trees are our lungs. The rivers and waters are circulating through this body as our circulation. Why do we call it the environment? We have a personal body, we have a universal body, and they are both equally ours. And we are totally dependent on our universal body for the well-being of our personal body. Today, if you go and ask anybody who understands genetics, who understands neuroscience, they'll tell you that your body is not a noun, it's not a thing, it's an activity. You are the activity of the universe this moment. In your body right now, you know, when I eat my food, I remind myself that my mother and my father are eating with me because they're in me. Your ancestors exist in you this moment. Your culture exists in you this moment. The history of life going back billions of years exists in you this moment, in every DNA molecule, in every genetic activity, in every neural network is the universe flowing through you. It is the life throb of ages which is dancing in your blood this moment. And when you go beyond all this and you go to that place which I started with, I said, okay, as you're listening to me, turn your attention to who's listening. Be present. Ask yourself, am I aware? Are you aware? And then ask yourself, what am I aware of? And if you do that, the great wisdom traditions have said, you will find the truth only through self-awareness. Because who you are is an activity of the universe becoming conscious of itself. If you ask yourself, who am I? If you ask yourself, what do I want? If you ask yourself, what is my purpose? If you ask yourself, what am I grateful for? If you ask yourself, what does a friendship mean to me? If you ask yourself, why is love and compassion important? If you ask yourself, how can I be healthy? And how can I make other people healthy? If you ask yourself, what are my unique skills? What are my unique talents? If you ask yourself, who are the great luminaries of history, of mythology, of religion? Jesus, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., in our own times, Nelson Mandela. What can I learn from them? If you ask yourself these questions, right here are the answers. Nobody is going to tell you the answers. No book of religion, no book of science. But if you live those questions, then life will take you to the answers. And life will take you to the answers when you're ready for them. Because there are different answers that we seek when we are students, different answers that we seek when we are in business and politics, different answers that we seek when we want to give and help, different answers that we seek when we want to know the meaning of life and death and existence. The beauty of all this is that self-reflection, self-awareness, transcendence, conscious choice-making, and knowing the difference between what you see and what fundamentally exists at the heart of the universe can take you to what can only be called enlightenment. Enlightenment is a very interesting word. It means to be in the light. Okay? So when I see this, all this, these colors, these forms, this is not the real light. Okay? Photons do not have color. Photons do not have brightness. Photons do not give rise to form. The only light that exists is the light of awareness. And today, our science is telling us that we are reaching the threshold of awareness where we recognize that we are a conscious being in a conscious universe. That within us is the immeasurable potential of all that was, all that is, all that will ever be. That the deepest core of your being is a field of infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. Infinite means infinite, no limitation. Infinite abundance. Look at the universe, how abundant it is. In every seed, there is the promise of 1,000 forests. Look at the universe, how free it is. From birds, you see, you look at the bird, that's the universe flying. You look at yourself, luminous stardust being, asking these questions, wanting to make a difference. So you are, in your core essence, a spiritual being having a human experience this moment. You are, in your core essence, the field of infinite creativity. What is creativity? Where does it come from? Does our brain produce creativity? Brain is a physical network with chemicals. Creativity is your spirit. Creativity is when you look at any problem and you say, I can solve it. Creativity is when you create new meaning, new context, new relationships, new stories. And it is time to create a new story for civilization. So the core of your being is infinite possibilities, it's infinite creativity, it's unpredictable. It cannot be programmed into an artificial intelligence system with algorithms. You're not an algorithm, you're the creator of algorithms. You're unpredictable. You have the capacity for infinite love. You have the capacity to take quantum leaps of imagination. So my challenge to all of you today, because you have the capacity to change the world, you have access to technology, say, whoa, you know, technology. You know, this little thing I have in my hand, it has more computing capacity than the computer at MIT that sent men to the moon. This. The capacity of technology is doubling every year. So in 10 years, technology will be 1,000,000 times more powerful than it is now. In 20 years, technology will be 1,000,000,000 times more than it is powerful. You can't even imagine. So when people say, you know, technology is dangerous, yes. This can interfere with a pacemaker if I know how to do it. This can cause an electrical plant to be disrupted and turn off the electricity in a major city. This can be used to poison the food chain. This can be used to cause a leak in a nuclear plant. But this can also monitor your heartbeat. This can also monitor your heart rate variability, your brain waves. Today we are creating, and I would love to partner with anyone here, creating new technologies that will measure your biology, correlate with your state of consciousness, and correlate it with not only your personal well-being, but everything from traffic accidents to hospital admissions, to crime rate, to social unrest, to economic improvement, to the state of the world. We have the technology to quantify our collective consciousness. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Will we do it? It depends on our capacity for love. It depends on our capacity for compassion. Everybody talks about love, but love is meaningless without action. Love is meaningless without action. And similarly, action is irrelevant without love. But when you bring together love, action, technology, well-being, you create a global mind, a global brain, then you see how bright the future could be. Then you see that this moment is precious, and every moment is precious because every moment is the opportunity to create a new world. Step out of the river of memory and conditioning, because it's all conditioned. All the problems that we have are the conditioned mind. The conditioned mind, conditioned by economics, conditioned by history, conditioned by religion, conditioned by culture. Conditioning is good, but conditioning can also separate us. Beyond the conditioned mind is the pure mind. And we are part of that pure mind. It's the mind of God. It's the mind that created the cosmos. It's the mind that created you. It's the mind that created butterflies and dolphins. It's the mind that has immense capacities, echolocation. You think you are creating technology? No. The universe is creating technology through the human nervous system, because the human nervous system is an activity of the universe. We are not bystanders looking at the universe. We are the universe looking at itself through human eyes, through the human brain, through the human senses. And while we look at ourselves and the universe through human eyes, there are dolphins that do it through the echo of ultrasound. There are insects with 100 eyes that look at the universe as a supreme magical show. There are universes upon universes, and they're like specks of dust. They're like motes of dust in a beam of light. This is the magnificence. This is the truth. This is the goodness. This is the beauty. This is the evolution of cosmic consciousness through us. And it has given us the gift of technology. How are we going to use it? I stand before you in humility, in reverence, in awe, because science has not taken us away from God. Science has increased our capacity to know God. Science has increased our capacity to do godly and divine things. Science has increased, and technology has increased our capacity to say, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. And more than we, you, the next phase of human evolution. Human evolution has been characterized by survival of the fittest. But if we are to survive, human evolution can no longer be about survival of the fittest. Human evolution has to be survival of the wisest. wisdom has to take over. And wisdom is what? It's not information, it's not knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge and information that nurtures life, that cultivates this fragile and tenacious thing that we call life, that doesn't belong to us, but is the essence of our spirit and belongs to all. Thank you very much.
Qué bueno que están con nosotros, qué honor sobre todo, por supuesto, estar contigo, pero estar también con ustedes, con alumnos tan destacados, un orgullo sin lugar a dudas para nosotros como mexicanos, para el país, y que sepan que nuestras esperanzas están puestas totalmente en ustedes. Ojalá haya sido enriquecedora la charla con Deepak. ¿Cómo te sentiste en el escenario? ¿Cómo te sentiste con la gente que te acompañó esta mañana y que te estuvimos escuchando?
I felt presence, and that's all that matters, because presence is our spirit.
Ahí está. Lograrlo es un triunfo, ¿no?
Así es, un verdadero honor poder compartir esta charla con Deepak Chopra por pues toda la relevancia y el liderazgo que tienen tantas personas, en la espiritualidad de tantas personas. En esta ocasión, de las 10,000 personas que están reunidas en el auditorio, la gran mayoría son jóvenes que pertenecen a la generación del milenio. Mucho se ha dicho sobre ellos. ¿Cuál es su opinión personal? ¿Cuáles son sus fortalezas?
Okay, so I may say something that may not be entirely politically correct. The future belongs to women and the millennials. And why do I say that? The male species brought us here through survival. As a tribe, we needed to survive. We needed to be hunters. We needed to be gatherers. We needed to go to war to protect our tribe. But that's not relevant anymore. The feminine energy is waking up, and the feminine energy is about beauty, truth, goodness, harmony, nature, affection, tenderness. This is what we need, not only in women, but in men. Okay?
Ya ves, qué bueno que lo dijiste. Qué bueno que lo dijiste, porque aquí hay muchas mujeres que están totalmente de acuerdo contigo y son definitivamente el futuro. Estábamos platicando justo antes y nos decías, se necesita cerca de 1 billón de personas para cambiar al mundo. Con 1 billón de personas la hacemos y podemos transformar el mundo para tener mejores condiciones. Yo te preguntaría, ¿qué porcentaje de ese billón de personas tú crees que serían mexicanos?
I hope that it will start the billion process. But let me talk to you about this for 1 second. What do we mean by billion people, and what do they have to do? So I go back to Mahatma Gandhi, who said, you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. Love can only be created by those who know love, who have experienced love. Peace can only be created by those who are peaceful. We have a lot of angry peace activists in the world. Doesn't help. So the only way for social transformation is personal transformation. Why do I say 1 billion people? Actually, even 100 million people would reach a tipping point, a critical mass that would change the field in which we are playing right now. A critical mass of people undergoing personal transformation in order to create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthy, happier, creative world. We have the technology today to give this knowledge on mobile phones, on digital platforms. And there are enough people in the world who say, I want that. Okay? And we should give it lavishly, extravagantly. It doesn't belong to any one person. It doesn't belong to any one culture. It belongs to the universe. And it's a gift that we have, and technology is the way to go.
Bueno, si necesitas algunos mexicanos aquí, somos bastantitos y tenemos mucho que aportar.
Y bueno, ya que menciona pues la tecnología, es muy activo en Twitter, tiene más de 1,5 millones de seguidores. Y bueno, pues además muy activo, constantemente está enviándoles mensajes. ¿Qué piensa de estas redes sociales? ¿Se puede hacer llegar el mensaje? ¿O separan de alguna manera? ¿Hay una barrera en el sentimiento?
Social networks are neutral. Technology is neutral. What we do with it depends on our state of spiritual evolution. So social networks can distract us. Social networks can be harmful to the nervous system. But if we use the social networks selectively, we can rewire the global brain to go back to what is a mantra in my head: a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthy, and happier world.
Ok, bueno, vamos a comenzar con las preguntas que ustedes le quieren hacer. Y si te parece bien, doctor, vamos a empezar con, bueno, escríbanle mejor, ¿no? Porque también está Rosales Mendoza, es lo que entiendo, y te preguntan, ¿en base a cuáles filósofos basó su doctrina de educación?
The Western philosophers, for me, the most important are Plato, Schopenhauer, to some extent Nietzsche, Hegel, and recently Wittgenstein, the German philosopher. The Eastern philosophers are Lao Tzu, Confucius, Buddha, and the sages of the Upanishads. I relate there are 108 Upanishads written by Indian sages who are anonymous, that we don't even know their name because they didn't care about it. So all these people speak about what is called the perennial philosophy, philosophy that is eternal and that has East and West accessing it. So that's my answer.
Nos pregunta Luis Martínez, ¿para ti existe Dios, un ser supremo, o la energía es la que nos mueve como humanos?
God is not energy. God is the source of energy. Where does the energy come from? Okay? So God is the source of energy, information, space-time, and the material universe. And therefore God is infinite consciousness. You know, there's a Sufi poem which says, I'm not just a drop in the ocean, I'm also the ocean in the drop. So God exists in you right now as your soul. It is the real meaning of the kingdom of heaven is within you, which Jesus spoke. Your soul is a speck in the ocean of God. Your soul is your connection to the infinite mind, which is the source of space-time, energy, information, matter, but also has infinite love, infinite compassion, truth, goodness, harmony, beauty, and evolution.
Muy bien. Edgardo Manuel Rodríguez, de la Benemérita Universidad Autónoma de Puebla. Es una pregunta muy interesante, es una de las además que habíamos planeado, Gaby. ¿Cómo aprender a amar y cómo aprender a despertar la conciencia?
There is no love without self-love. So you have to learn first to go beyond your shadows, your shame, your guilt, your resentments, your anger, your hostility, your fear. You have to get in touch with the deepest aspect of your being through self-reflection, through meditation, through prayer, through transcendence. And by taking action that is meaningful and compassionate. Today, our research shows at Gallup that what people want from you, from anyone, but particularly from their leaders, is hope, trust, stability, and compassion. If you can be the embodiment of that, then you are a being in love.
Seguramente algún estudiante de comunicación pregunta, ¿puede ser la comunicación una de las grandes esperanzas que tiene el mundo para sobrevivir? ¿Puede ser un purificador?
I would go beyond communication and say communion. Okay, communication is transfer of information. So you look at the history of civilization, it begins as hunter-gatherers, then there is the age of agriculture, then there's the age of industry, oil, minerals, natural resources. Then there's the age of information, which is now we're living in, communication. Then there's the age of knowledge. Salman Khan is going to talk about knowledge, not just information, but knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is information that is useful. But knowledge has a double-edged sword. Okay? It's the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. We have to go beyond that. Wisdom. And wisdom is not communication, it's communion. When my soul gets in touch with your soul. Yes, we can use technology to do it.
Y hablando de tecnologías, ¿tú identificas hoy en día alguna tecnología que está en nuestro alcance y que no nos juegue a favor? ¿Alguna tecnología que lejos de servir en beneficio del desarrollo común, del beneficio de los más, nos juegue en contra?
I do believe that the destruction of our food through genetic modification is destroying the ecosystem. I also believe that the destruction of our food through what are called insecticides and pesticides, which are petroleum products, we are consuming petroleum. I do believe that mechanized death, which is the most frightening thing, whether it's drones or chemical warfare, this is all technology, okay? But there's an emerging technology, which actually I'm using right now, as biosensors in my body that monitor my heart rate, my stress levels, my activity, and soon genetic activity, brain activity, and the state of consciousness. I think this technology, which is wireless, you could see me, I could put a patch here, and I could be in La Jolla, California, knowing the state of your consciousness. And that would influence you to change your behavior and make conscious choices, not only for yourself, but for everybody else. So I think technology is, as I said, neutral, but we can use it to heal.
Y tal vez también, sí, bueno, además también podría ser un identificador que viene a colación la próxima pregunta también de alguien del auditorio que dice, si alguna vez pensaste que los seres humanos son malvados también, somos parte del universo y el universo es dual. Tal vez así se podría detectar quiénes son los malos.
Evil is an earlier stage of human evolution. It's a strategy for personal survival. But as we evolve, we go towards the divine, which is truth, goodness, harmony, beauty, evolution, creativity, imagination, insight. Evil is lack of all of that. And so I don't like the word evil. I say it's ignorance. And as you improve awareness, then evil diminishes. You do not fight the darkness, you bring the light. It's impossible to fight darkness, but light will get rid of darkness.
Hay una pregunta de Daniel Omar Cosío Leal. Te pregunta, ¿cómo encontrar el equilibrio entre la felicidad y el éxito? Además, a una figura como tú que eres exitoso, una figura como tú que es escuchada en todo el mundo, es traducido en diferentes lenguas, es leído, es seguido, en fin, felicidad y éxito.
When you ask people, why do you want to be successful? They say, because it will make me happy. Okay, so you have to define success first. What is success? Success includes the following. Success is the progressive realization of worthy goals. Success is the ability to love and have compassion. Success is to get in touch with the creative power inside you. Success is happiness first and everything else afterwards. So if you focus, you know, again, different religions say this differently. So Jesus in the New Testament says, first the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, and everything else. Well, what is the kingdom of God? Kingdom of God is in you right now. Okay? It is all this creative energy of the universe. Find the kingdom of God now, which is happiness for you and happiness for all those who are affected by you, and the universe will take care of your success.
No está fácil,
Precisamente Dulce nos pide si podrías detallar más acerca de las promesas que el universo tiene para nosotros.
The universe is saying, I have given you self-awareness, but I have also given you free will. Animals are the natural expression of the universe. They eat when they are hungry. They kill because they are part of the food chain. They don't kill without cause. Okay, we have free will, and free will also gives us access to the knowledge of good and evil. So the universe says, I've given you the knowledge, it's up to you.
Te decías hace unos minutos, nos comentabas que has venido a México muchas veces, que has tenido muchas experiencias con México y que tienes muy buenos recuerdos de México. Yo no sé si pudieras compartirnos qué se te viene a la mente, qué sientes, qué emoción te provoca cuando escuchas la palabra México.
When I hear the word Mexico, I think of qualities of the heart. I think of passion. I think of love. I think of celebration. I think of the mariachis. I think of amazing, tasty food, which has all the colors of the rainbow and all the tastes of life: sweet, sour, bitter, salt, pungent, spicy. When I think of Mexico, I think of love for life.
estás llevando a cabo el proyecto sobre la concientización, Consciousness Project. ¿De qué manera se puede empoderar a las personas, a un individuo, para facilitar este despertar colectivo que mencionas? Y por otra parte preguntar, ¿estamos dormidos? ¿Qué estamos soñando? ¿Por qué tenemos que despertar? ¿Qué nos estamos perdiendo?
Well, life is an adventure, and we come into this world totally innocent. And there's an Indian saying that every child that is born is proof that God has not yet given up on human beings. So we are on an adventure of awakening. And it's an interesting part. Most people are actually dreaming. They're not awake because their mind is only in the future, in the past. They're not living. When you start to awaken to the present moment, then life becomes very rich. And there is an awakening. First, there's awakening of the soul. Then there's awakening which we call cosmic consciousness. In Christian doctrine, it's called I'm in the world, I'm not on it. Then there's the awakening which is connection to the divine. And there's the awakening which says the whole universe is my body. I am the universe. I don't come out of the earth. I am the earth. Okay? I don't come out of the stars. I am the stars. So this is slow awakening. The Consciousness Project, and please go to the internet and look up the Consciousness Project. It said, we want 1 billion people to wake up, and this will be heaven on earth right here. So the Consciousness Project includes science, includes technology, includes these biosensors to measure both our well-being and our psychological and spiritual development, but it also includes major issues, conflict resolution, sustainability, economic empowerment, jobs, global cooperation, new identity.
Bueno, nos quedan 2 minutitos, pero yo creo que sí podríamos contestar rápidamente estas preguntas. ¿Cuál es tu mayor miedo y qué haces para superarlo? Te pregunta @soysof. Y que si la sigues.
My only fear is that it took us 13.8 or 14 billion years to get here. Let's not blow it up.
Wow. ¿Merito está? Tengo una aquí que es, ¿qué es lo que crees que será el fin de la humanidad? Rápidamente. El fin de la humanidad.
I think we are smart enough, wise enough to seize the moment and say humanity and life will be eternal.
También tenemos una pregunta que se refiere a quiénes han sido tus maestros, quiénes han sido tus influencias más importantes.
The religious teachers I've had have been everyone from Jesus to Buddha, in our own times, Mother Teresa, spiritual teachers like Mahatma Gandhi, political teachers like Nelson Mandela, scientific teachers like Einstein, and the pioneers of the quantum physics era. Today, my most important teachers are children.
Un fuerte aplauso. Muchas gracias. Siempre bienvenido a México.
Despedimos con un fuerte aplauso a Deepak Chopra, Gaby Calzada y Nacho Lozano. Muchas gracias y seguimos con la edición 2013 de México Siglo XXI. Somos uno con México.